right, if you are a mama or a busy woman who is doing all the right things like eating healthy, staying busy, holding it all together, but still feel exhausted, anxious, and disconnected from your own body, this video is for you. There was a time in my life when I genuinely thought I was in a broken body I didn't even recognize. When in reality, what was happening was my nervous system was simply stuck in survival mode. Here's the truth that nobody really tells mamas or busy women. A lot of so-called healthy habits actually keep stress hormones super high and the body locked in fight or flight, because so many of our health strategies are another to-do on our busy list that we somehow have to fit in. That's why no amount of discipline, diets, or perfectly curated self-care routines ever seem to fix our exhaustion, the brain fog, or the emotional overwhelm and feeling like you have 100 tabs open at any time. In this video, I'm gonna show you what actually helps our busy nervous systems heal, not by doing less, because we've got a lot to do, or escaping our lives, but by learning how to regulate amidst it, during the chaos. And I want you to stay with me till the end, because by then you're gonna understand exactly how to start feeling calmer, clearer, and more like yourself again without adding another to-do to your plate. All right, so here's my 3 tips for you. Super simple, ready? Number 1, stop trying to heal with willpower and more to-dos. Here's the pattern I see over and over again in women that I speak with. Women are doing everything right, but they're still exhausted, still anxious, still wired but tired, and still disconnected. And the more they push and the more effort they put in, the worse they feel. That is because survival mode is not a mindset issue. It is a nervous system state. It is a feature, not a flaw. When our body is in protection, healing is not the priority. Safety is, okay? If willpower and doing more and pushing worked, we wouldn't all be so exhausted. Our nervous system is constantly scanning for safety or threat. And when life feels like constant demand, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, all those tasks that we carry for everybody else, adding more effort actually puts it into more of a fight or flight state. When our nervous system is stuck in protection mode, it literally cannot heal, relax, or regenerate. So effort and the to-dos as far as our self-care isn't necessarily wrong. It's just misplacing us into survival mode, and healing doesn't begin with force. It begins with safety. So for me, the way that this translated is I was a busy mama doing it all, right? Juggling career, juggling our 3 children, and pushing and trying to fit everything in, including taking care of myself, including doing things to fill my cup and help me feel better. What that ended up looking like is just from the moment I woke up to the moment my head hit the pillow, just going, like literally never stopping. And I think that's the reality of so many women today. What happened to me is I ended up getting really sick. I got a neurological form of Lyme disease where my nervous system literally started to feel like it was under attack. I had massive inflammation, so much so that I couldn't function and I didn't remember our children's names. And so what happens in a state like that, right? Like mine is a very dramatic example, but our nervous system is again constantly in this fight or flight state that it's not intended to function in for long periods of time, or the chronic stress. And so it blasted, it gave out. Like I was just constantly living at the tipping point. So any little thing could have set me off, right? And as I share this, if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, well, that's my life, what am I supposed to do? I have the tools for you. I had to create them to dig myself out of the hole and to realize that I had to start living in a way that actually worked within my life, right? And that's exactly what I've done with these tools that I teach. And they're all for our lives as mamas and busy women. These are all like 2-minute tools, you guys, and they work. They really work. And I'm so passionate about this because it's made such a difference in my life, and it's easy and it's simple. And so please know I'm here for you. If questions come up along this video as you're watching or listening, put them in the comment section. I read and respond to every single one. I'm literally here holding your hand while you figure this out for yourself, by your side, because this is self-care, you guys. Self-care needs a rebrand. It's not the 1-hour appointments, it's this stuff. So in part of my recovery, one of the biggest realizations I made is that my body didn't need fixing. I needed to create feelings of safety for my nervous system. So instead of asking what's wrong with me, we can start asking, what does my nervous system need in this moment right now? Train horns, perhaps? And I want to pause here for a moment, because if you're thinking like a lot of women think, I don't even know how to answer that, that's normal, okay? Disconnection from ourselves has been a protection response. Awareness comes before the answer. So you don't need a perfect answer. I just want you to start to create a direction by asking yourself these questions, because what will start to happen is you will start getting the answer. So try starting with clues. Things like, do I need more or less input in this moment? Do I need stillness or movement? Do I need quiet or sound? Do I need to be alone or do I want to be with people, right? And even if you're just asking the question and not necessarily giving yourself that answer or result, that is a win, and that is how we start. You're not choosing a whole lifestyle. You're not recreating your life. You are simply creating the next step and a little bit of a layer and level of safety and connection with your nervous system, right? So again, remember, it's simple and low-hanging fruit. We do such a good job, ladies, of making things more complicated than they need to be. The magic here is in the simplicity, in the awareness, and creating little hits of survival for our nervous system through acts of connection, through asking questions. What do I need in this moment? What would make me feel safe? What doesn't feel good here? What do I need to do to feel better? That's it. Okay, tip number 2, and this is one of my favorites, you guys. Short, frequent regulation tasks beat long-term self-care. All right, so here's the problem in women of today. Our stress isn't occasional, it is constant. And so one reset, like one 60-minute massage, cannot compete with all-day stimulation. Feels good in the moment, but it doesn't move the needle. Healing doesn't come from the long routines, guys. The science shows this. It literally comes from repeated signals of safety. Frequency and consistency beats intensity. What does that mean? It means the 2-minute things that we can do for our body, the 2-minute moments of connecting with what feels good, does more for our bodies, for our nervous system, than the 1-hour routines. How cool is that? Because this is what we actually have the ability to fit into our lives. So I love the classes, right? I love yoga, all those things, but like one yoga class cannot do a full week of survival mode. So this isn't either or, it's both and. But knowing in the majority of our weekdays when we can't get to maybe the 1-hour class, we can still win, right? Safety has to be felt through the day, and the best way to do that is through these micro doses of connection. So that's why I teach something very simple. I call them regulation reps. We're gonna aim for 2 minutes, 3 times a day, for you. So just like the gym, getting our reps in matter, and these are the most important, and I wanted to make it super easy for you. So I made a free regulation checklist. It's a simple guide with body-based regulation reps that you can use throughout your busy day. 2 minutes, 3 times a day, real life friendly, right? This is one of the most important resources I want you to grab. It's the first link in the show description, and you're gonna use it as a menu, not a rule book, meaning you don't have to aim for perfection. You don't need to do all of them. Pick the ones that feel good for you and do those on your 2-minute breaks here and there throughout the day. This works so well for mamas and busy women because it doesn't require extra time. It literally fits into real life. You guys, after I film this video and I jump into the car for carpooling to grab my kids, I will do regulation reps in the car on the way there. I will downshift out of my busy beta brainwaves brain, my to-do mode, and I will downshift into alpha so I can connect and be present with my children when they get in the car. And the way that I will do that is not through a 1-hour massage, because I don't have access to that, right? We're all busy. I will do it by putting on an amazing song in the car. I'll get in the car, I'll literally say, what song do I want to hear right now? Do I want up? Do I want down? Do I want sad? Do I want happy? Do I want to roll the windows down and like scream at the top of my lungs? What song would feel best for that? I will do that. That's it, you guys. And the science again proves that this is just as, if not more powerful than the 1-hour massage. How cool is that? Okay, so if part of you is thinking 2 minutes can't possibly matter, that is your survival mode and scripting talking. You can fit this in, I promise you, and over time it's gonna stack up. So I love to give the example of my son. He wanted to get strong and like muscular. He's 15, and he was, trying to get the 1-hour sessions at the gym, and it just wasn't fitting in with school and after school activities. And so we got him a pull-up bar that he puts on the doorway into his bedroom. And my son literally started doing 1 pull-up every time that he went into his bedroom. So he was doing 1 pull-up and stressing that he wasn't getting the hour session at the gym, right? 1 pull-up every time he went in the bedroom, micro-dosing connection or strength, or, micro-dosing the reps. This kid is jacked from the little, frequent, consistent flexes. That is what we're doing to the nervous system. So as you download that resource, the first link in the show description, and as you're aiming for your 2 minutes, 3 times a day of these reps, I want you to know 1 rep is better than none, right? If you missed some reps throughout your day, it doesn't erase progress. Consistency beats perfection. women, I like to say this is practice. Practice gives us permission to not do it perfectly. Because just like, maybe if your kids are in baseball or a sport and they go to practice all the time so that they show up great for the game, these regulation reps are practice for your big game. What is most important to you to shift how you show up in your life? Like, what situations is that? For me, one of my most important abilities and why I do the regulation reps is I've got a very busy brain. It doesn't stop from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to bed. And so I need to flex my regulation reps because that is what allows me in any moment to have the ability to downshift. What do I mean by that? Have you ever had one of those days where you're like going, and then if you have kids there in front of you and you realize you're snappy, or maybe your husband or someone at work, you're snappy, but you're just like, you're in that high speed go mode that it's hard for you to slow down. As a mama, any mama's listening to this, you think about how many times we heard that phrase, enjoy every moment, it all goes so fast. And the reality is there are moments as a mama that aren't enjoyable. There are moments that are really hard, like the ones where you're running out the door to get to school and you're late and then your kid throws a tantrum. And like in those moments, what matters is not enjoying that moment, but being able to be present, right? And that is for me why I do these reps. So that in that moment, my nervous system knows how to go out of fight or flight, because that hustle, it feels like you're being chased by a tiger, and go instantly into my heart and present time so I can connect with my child when they need me most. That is my game, and that is why I practice. So when I get to game day, I am good to go. So what is your why? What is that moment for you that you want to change how you show up? I encourage you, maybe pause this video, take a moment, write it down, right? That is your why you are doing these regulation reps. And I would love to hear it. Share it in the comments, you guys. Like, we all have different reasons, and it's so cool to connect on them and walk each other through this together. It's more fun together, you guys. This is how we create the village that we're supposed to have. All right, so as we do these reps, our body starts to feel safety more often. Our brain has an easier time quieting, and that's when healing becomes possible. Okay, stay with me till the end of this short video because I'm gonna answer some of the most common questions that I get from women as they start doing this, because this way of caring for yourself genuinely works. It's not what we are traditionally taught as women. Again, self-care needs a rebrand, you guys. This is it. And if a question comes up for you while you're listening, again, I'll probably cover it at the end, but go ahead and throw it in the comments in case it's not one of my most frequently asked questions. I respond to every comment because this conversation is so important and I really want you to feel supported. All right, last tip number 3, you guys. Thanks for hanging here because these are really, really powerful. Healing happens when you come back into your body. So most mamas, I love to use the word mamas, busy women I work with are living in their heads, right? I'm this way too, constantly thinking, constantly planning, maybe constantly playing what feels like I can't turn my mind off. I've got to think about this thing and this thing and this thing, all the tabs open, right? Healing happens when we get back into our body. We don't think our way out of a nervous system state. We feel our way back. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I mean, in those moments in your day when perhaps you're like all up in the tizzy, frazzle-dazzled, snappy-wappy, it's not about fixing the external situation. It's about regulating our states, because you'll know it. Like, we've all had that moment or experience where we are in flow. Like, things are just coming to us and we are like we're calm, cool, collected. When we can achieve that state, and you can, this is the formula for it, everything else happens as it needs to, right? And when we're in the frazzle state, what a lot of us have learned is, let me fix and try to control everything externally around me to feel better. It doesn't work. And we become a disaster to be around. The clutter on the counters bothers us. People's chewing or breathing bothers us. That's trying to control the external world to shift how you feel. Guys, this is an inside job, okay? Now, one of the reasons that our brain gets so busy that we need to get back into our body is a feature, not a flaw. We have busy brains because there's a part of our brain that turns on when we are focused on a task. How about 100 of them? It replays conversations. It worries about the future. It keeps a running mental to-do list. And for a lot of women, that system never turns off. In neuroscience, just a little tidbit of science here, that part of the brain is called the default mode network. We'll call it the DMN for short. It's actually a circuit. It's meant to come on sometimes, not all the time. So this DMN is way more active for women because we are literally wired and conditioned to monitor relationships, to search search for safety for our tribe and our children and our village, and to be aware of the needs for others. So motherhood especially amplifies this. Our brain stays in internal monitoring mode. This isn't anxiety, that's nervous system, right? It's a feature, not a flaw. But in today's world, that system never gets a break. Between WhatsApp messages, text, social media, emails, our kids' soccer schedules, spirit days at school, like it never turns off. And so what we've got to learn to do is to put input into the nervous system that tells it you're safe. You can stop monitoring the village. We're good. And we do that through these tools. So the DMN quiets when our body feels safe. Safety is not sensed, it's not thought. The fastest way to create a sense of safety is through the body. When our bodies feel good, our brain stops scanning. This is why simple 2-minute things that engage the body work. This is movement. This is getting out for a brisk walk in the sunshine. This can be hanging on stuff, going upside down in a small inversion, incorporating something called expanded gaze. My lizard walks, you guys, if you follow me, the lizard walks, I call them, where I simply go outside. I go for a little walk, 2-minute walk. I look at something 10 feet away for about 2 to 5 minutes. It signals the DMN to shut down. This is how we do it. Okay, so again, click that first link in the show description because I've got a ton of resources for you and examples of how to do these regulation reps and body activations in the 2 to 5 minutes amidst your day. Again, these regulation reps, they're not massive. They don't require massive thinking or scheduling an appointment. They are simply intentionally based on neuroscience, and I simplified them all for you. Every single one of these regulation reps that I suggest tell your nervous system instantly that it's safe, which shuts down your fight or flight. It increases something called your parasympathetic nervous system, which makes you feel calm and relaxed, even if your life is chaotic. You can do these while you're slinging carpool. You can do these while you're in Zoom meetings. Again, you guys, these are so easy and simple, so please be sure to check them out. This is how you meet your nervous system where it actually is. This is how we start to get our busy brain to shut down without continuing to just think there's something wrong with us, right? So click that first link, grab that checklist, start to incorporate some of these tools. Please know that I am here for you. Put any questions in the comments. Again, you're aiming for 2 minutes, 3 times a day. This is for you, but in reality, it's for everyone else around you, you guys. So happy to be here with you, and let's continue to do this together. So in order to feel better, we're not trying to figure it out, what's wrong with us, and fixing that. We are addressing our nervous system, getting it to feel safe, and everything else comes from there. I want to wrap with some of the most common questions that I get when I share these tools with women. How do I know if I'm in survival mode or just tired? Great question, simple answer. If you go to lay down and you can actually rest, then you're tired. If you go to lay down and your brain doesn't stop, you're stuck in survival mode. And now you guys know regulation reps gets your brain out of survival mode so that when you have the chance to rest, you can actually rest. Okay, question 2. What if I don't have time to do this, or if I forget one of my reps? You guys remember, this isn't a rule, it's a rhythm. 1 rep is still a win. Forgetting doesn't erase progress. This is meant to fit in your life, not compete with it. And something is better than nothing. We're going for practice, not perfection. Question 3, how long till I feel a difference? Right? For a lot of people, relief happens very quickly, but change over time happens gradually. So you're not looking to feel fixed here. You are looking to build capacity and the ability to regulate after stressful events. This doesn't mean we no longer have stress in our lives. It means we can reset more quickly. This is building our resilience. This is HRV, heart rate variability, is like a huge tracker and biomarker of that. We are increasing our heart rate variability through these reps. Okay, last question. What if my mind gets louder when I try to slow down? 100%. I'm right there with you, sister. That's how I started. It's very common when our body pauses, the mind unloads, and that is processing and getting it out, not danger. I want you to stay with that sensation, create space for your mind to unload and get quiet. Think about, we're constantly just bombarding it with input, right? And so having this quiet space and your mind going is a great first step. That is a great first win. Think about it like you're allowing your busy brain to start to clear the slate. And it does that by verbal processing, right? It's how it closes out those old tabs. So it's okay. I love this quote. Our ego, our inner narrator, doesn't want to be healed. She just wants to be held. So just sit and listen. That's okay. All right, sister, I am here with you. You are not doing this alone. I am just like you, navigating life, doing my best to do my best. So let's continue to show up for one another and do this together.